Welcome. Thank you for your time. This is a video from our Business Building Roadshow, and today we are talking about the operational aspects of business transformation. Please feel free to enjoy the other videos and to subscribe. In this session, we are looking at how to make transformation projects a success. Over a 10-year period, the IEEE did an assessment of major IT programs and the reasons for their success or failure. They did a survey and then they repeated it 10 years later. In that time frame, there was multiple methodologies, multiple technology changes, multiple frameworks used, yet the success rates still remain the same and the failure rates pretty much remain the same, between about 60 and 80%. The same factors that the IEEE talked about around the implementation of technology apply exactly the same to transformation. And given that a lot of the transformation is about the integration and adoption of technology, that's hardly surprising. We've taken the IEEE factors over 4 slides, classified them as to the factors and given common examples. We'll select a few, but for those in the room, we will go through this in more detail. And for those on the video, please feel free to refer to the IEEE and bring your own experiences to the video. One of the first ones the IEEE identified is unrealistic or unarticulated project goals. We've talked about this earlier in the session. A project, you need to know what you want to achieve. Now, common ones are, it's going to cost us X to get this done. It's not going to get signed off at that, but if you do it for Y, we can get the project done. You're setting the project to fail from the beginning. Now, we've also talked about true costed projects. It's the technology service, it's the business integration, it's the resources from the business spending time away from the business on the projects. What the next one the IEEE identified was inaccurate estimates of the needed resources. This ties back to the unrealistic expectations. This ties back to the issue of true costed projects. The next one they did was badly defined systems requirements. Now, when we talked about the gated process, we said every project needs some level of requirements worked through. That doesn't mean that every requirement has to be done at the start. There has to be enough requirements to start and to get underway. This is where agile software methodologies come in for the software development part, and the use of testing to drive through what is actually needed. Until users are put in front of a system and use it in an operational sense, it's often hard to get requirements. The takeout message is we manage requirements. Requirements don't have to be bolted down all at once, but they do need to be agreed and managed out during the development and testing stages. There is also the testing of the implementation, which we cover off in another session or in another video. The IEEE reported the poor reporting of the project status. How many times is a project a watermelon, green on the outside and red on the inside? A lot of this is the fear of reporting bad news, people not wanting to hear bad news. But if you report it properly, manage the risk, this is how you manage user expectation and you can make the changes to the project, get the budget, get the resources, manage the scope creep. Unmanaged risks. This is again one of the major issues. Clearly identifying the risk, clearly reporting the risk, and holding people to account for their actions or inactions around the risk. Poor communication was one of the major ones. And again, this is where you go proactively, manage stakeholders, go talk to people. Get out from behind the desk, from behind the email, from behind the message board, and go talk to people. Our first technology factor is use of immature technology. This is always going to be a risk in some projects, especially those at the cutting edge and those involved in research. Inability to handle the complexity of the project or program. This is why you have a gated process. This is why you build a schedule. This is why you manage risks and you manage issues. Yes, it's pragmatic, practical delivery, but unless you manage the interdependencies, that is where the projects go wrong. Managing the interdependencies is talking to people, understanding it, and making sure that the events are sequenced in the right way. Sloppy development practices. This is not an IT issue. This is an IT management issue. Poor project management, not having the right skills, the right capacities and capabilities. This is why we're talking all about this and having it embedded in the business. One of the big ones is a methodology is not a box ticking exercise. It is a pragmatic, adaptive framework for delivery. Stakeholder policies and practices, again, a human factor, and commercial pressures, again, a human factor. In all of these ones, there's been one technology issue. Everything else is about people management and the environment in which they operate. Stakeholder policies is about this management of risks, reporting risks, and managing expectations. And commercial pressures, we live with these every day. And again, if you manage the risks, if you manage the issues, if you manage the stakeholders, we can manage out the commercial pressures, get a successful IT implementation, and get a successful business transformation. For those in the room, we're going to go back over some of these, talk through work examples, talk about some of the experiences that you bring. For those online, please feel free to enjoy Please feel free to get further details from the book, including case studies, scenarios, exercises, and practical implementation details. The book is available direct from the publisher, Amazon, or other bookstores. Any author profits from the book and the videos go to charity and community purposes. Thank you for your time. Hope you enjoyed the session and look forward to your comments. Don't forget to subscribe so that we can help you, and please make the most of the other videos.